Hey, it's Jared with State of Tech. I have the Samsung A53 here. It's a phone that I've wanted to check out for a while now because Samsung has these flagship phones and then they also have these more budget-friendly phones. And while the features haven't necessarily been for me in the past, I wanted to check it out because a lot of people are often asking me about these phones, and so the A53 I will be talking about in another video, but today we're going to be looking at cases for this phone because this phone, while pretty impressive considering the price so far, the time that I've spent with it, it's not built as strong as some of the other Samsung phones. And if you're like me, you like to put a case on your phone to protect it from scratches and all that stuff. So I have a stack of cases that I got off of Amazon, and we're going to go through these cases and take a look at them and see how they look on the phone and just talk about their general features. So this first case here is doesn't really have a brand name on it. They call it the fashion case, but you know, to be honest, it's not a super fashionable case. It's more kind of rugged looking. We're going to go ahead and pop the phone in the case, and one thing that was cool about this, and it's one of the reasons that I chose this one from Amazon, is because it also came with a screen protector. Now, screen protectors are, I think, super important for phones because you throw one of these phones in your pocket, and even just little bits of lint with something in the lint can scratch the screens. They talk about how durable these screens are, and I watch YouTubers scratch them to death saying how strong they are, but it never fails. I put the phone in my pocket and just a little piece of debris can scratch it up. So let's talk about this case. What I think is cool about it is it does have like a camera cover. If you are privacy minded and kind of worried about your cameras going on for any reason, it has a camera cover. It also can protect against dust and debris and stuff like that as well. It says Discover Innovation. I have had cases in the past from this brand, and they typically says Discover Innovation. I don't know if that's their brand name or not. A lot of these cases, some of them don't have brands and some of them do. What's cool is it also has this little deal on the back that allows you to support your hand. It's kind of like a pop socket, but like a ring finger type of pop socket. So you could put your finger in there and rotate this around to different angles, and it helps just keep your phone safe and secure so that you don't drop it, especially if you're talking like this and you tend to fling things out of your hands. So one thing that I like about this case is that, and it does have kind of a more rugged look. It has a little bit of screen protection, screen down protection if you were to set the phone on a surface. But once adding the screen protector, it would be pretty flush, and so your screen protector would come close to rubbing on the table surface. Another thing about this case is, I mean, it wobbles a little bit, as you can see here, and it doesn't really sit completely flat. I'm not a fan of cases that wobble. I don't know why. I think it's just because I'm more naturally a fidgety person, and so if I can wobble the case around, it's making annoying noise and it bugs me. And maybe I'm concerned it bugs other people as well. But I do really like the fact that it has, I mean, I wouldn't trade it for the fact that it has this on the back of the case. I've attached these to other phones, and I find them really useful just for, you know, having more security when holding your device. So this case is pretty cool. I'm not going to install the screen protector. The screen protector is just a basic one. It's nothing fancy, but I do like the fact that it comes with a screen protector. So if you were thinking about purchasing a screen protector for your phone, this solves both of those problems right in one, which I think is pretty neat. So we'll go ahead and get this one put away. So Crave is a case manufacturer that I have a lot of experience with. I've had their cases for a lot of different phones. There's been times where they've sent me cases to review. All of the cases that we're looking at in this video, by the way, I purchased off of Amazon, so none of these cases have been sent to me. But I do have some experience with Crave cases. They are really good quality, usually pretty durable, and some of their cases are, you have a good hardness to them. So if you're looking for something that's really going to protect your phone, I feel pretty safe and secure with Crave cases. It's really nice form-fitting case, as you can see here. Just the way it looks, it really kind of dresses up the phone a lot. They have this particular model in a lot of different colors. This is the dual guard, and it has a decent amount of screen down protection, a little bit more than the last case that we looked at. So even if you added a screen protector, you might end up having a little bit of extra space left between your screen protector and the tabletop, whatever you are laying it on. I love the fact that when you set this case down flat, it does not wobble. It's nice and flat. And yeah, I like the black accents as well. I like this kind of hunter green color. They call it forest green. And yeah, the buttons are nice. They're shiny. They feel really good. And so nothing bad to say about this case. Probably wouldn't choose this color personally. I might go with like a black case, but I wanted to get a color case because most of the time I end up ordering black cases and people say, you know, it'd be really cool if you showed us some colored cases from time to time. So the Crave dual guard case, definitely liking this one a lot so far. A lot more simple of a style than the last case that we looked at. Now we are jumping on over into Spigen cases. Some people call it Spigen or Spigen. This is their thin fit case. Their thin fit case is a very minimal case. I sometimes will go with a more minimal style case just because I don't want to add any bulk to my phone. And this case is exactly what you would want if you did not want to add much bulk to your phone. But you're going to sacrifice with a little bit less protection. As you can see, the camera bump here it's back in there just a little bit. It's recessed just a little bit, but not a whole lot. So you're not going to get a ton of protection. Camera hump side down. But the case does sit nice and flat. Same when you rotate it over, sits nice and flat. You do have edge protection all the way around, and I'd say about the same amount of edge protection as the first case from the screen down. The case has a decent feel to it, but it's a little bit more plasticky than the other cases that we've looked at so far. I like the buttons. I'd say I like the buttons on this case the best so far out of all of the cases that we've looked at. And of course, I love the minimal branding and just the simplicity of this case. So while this is a very thin case compared to the other ones that we've looked at, I like how this one feels and fits. So far, we're just moving down the line, and I'm finding that as we continue to move on, I'm liking the case that we go to next each time. So let's see if that continues. Of course, Spigen cases I've really enjoyed, and I really like their cases. We're moving on to another one from them. This is called the Tough Armor case. It is a bigger case compared to the thin fit case, and it has a kickstand feature as well that we'll look at. So this case even has some kind of internal padding and protection. Definitely a lot more protection going around the outer edges as well. Little bit more screen down protection, so it's nice and flat. You can see the camera bump is recessed in there quite a bit more than the last case, providing even more protection. We have kind of a plastic and silicone or kind of combination here with a two-tone or a dual tone. This case is a little bit more blue. They call it metal slate, but it has kind of a blue tint to it in this main section, and then black around the outer edges and with the buttons. I really like the buttons here because they're very pronounced, and the kind of knurled or grip here lets me really find the power button easily, which sometimes I can, they change the location of these buttons all the time on the different phones, and sometimes it can be kind of a pain in the butt to figure out where the buttons are. So the kickstand is very minimal. It's not a very strong kickstand. So as you can see here, it's just meant for kicking the phone up on its side. It's not going to work in a portrait orientation. It's only really designed for the landscape orientation. So if you find yourself needing a little kickstand from time to time, this is a great option for you. It's not the strongest kickstand. It wobbles a little bit, but I found it's really hard to hurt one of these. So you're not going to have to worry about it, of course, unless somebody pushes down on the phone really hard. So while the Tough Armor is a nice case, I still like the thin fit case better than this Tough Armor case. I don't need the kickstand. That's not typically something that I would use. So for me, I'm liking the thin case more so. So now we're going to look at a waterproof case here. This waterproof case I've seen before on different phone models. I think maybe I did an iPhone case review a year or so ago, where I reviewed this particular case for an iPhone, and I was really impressed with the simplicity of the case and how well it fit together without adding a ton to the phone. So this comes with some cleaning wipes and stuff like that so that you can clean off the screen of your phone before putting it in this case, because you are essentially adding a screen in front of your screen, and so you just want to be careful there because you don't want any debris or anything like that on the inside of the phone. So it also warns that you don't want to have a screen protector on your phone because you're adding a screen protector on top of another screen protector, and that's going to affect the overall performance. So we'll go ahead and peel that off. We will get the phone positioned in here. I should clean it properly, but I'm just going to go ahead and put the phone in and get it positioned, and then we put on the backing plate, which is going to snap into place all the way around, creating a nice seal all the way around the case and sealing the phone off from the outside elements. Now, some of these phones have water resistance to them, and so you think to yourself, well, why do I need to add a waterproof case to a phone that already has water resistance? Well, what this does is this increases the depth in which you can take the phone into the water. So while some phones may have like an IP67 or 68 water resistance, this adds a little bit more to that. On top of that, you're also adding the ability to block out dust and debris from getting into your phone as well. And that could be even more problematic if your phone is a little damp. So this case is pretty cool. So I need to, of course, unlock my phone first, but I want to see how the fingerprint reader operates with this. So let's go ahead and turn the phone back on and put my thumb down. And sometimes with some of these cases, you may have to re-enter your thumbprint, re-register your thumbprint. And so for me, I've just disabled it. It would require me to go and re-register my thumbprint. So keep that in mind. You may want to unlock your phone for the first time with the PIN and then go and register another thumbprint, or just delete and re-register your thumbprint. I recommend, because you can store multiple thumbprints, that you register an additional thumbprint, and that way you have your original one in there. Because if you take your phone out of the case and then you want to use your thumbprint, then it can revert back to the previous thumbprint. So we have a door here for your USB, so you have to kind of pop that door off and you can gain access to your USB, and it also gives more access to the speakers, as you can see here. And this flops out of the way, but there's no way of kind of rotating it out of the way. It's meant to be sealed. There's also a lanyard attachment, and it comes with a lanyard so that you can attach that there. I think that's pretty cool, because if you're putting your phone in this case, you might not want your phone in this case all the time, but you do when you are at the beach or you're traveling or something like that. Having the lanyard is a nice, secure thing, especially if you're in the water. You don't want to drop your phone and have it sink to the bottom. So I think it's nice that it comes with a lanyard. There is a little cutout right here that makes it easy for you to remove this case just by getting your thumbnail in there and then pulling back on this case. The case that I've had previously, this type of case, I took it on and off of the phone many times, thinking like maybe this seal was going to give after a little while and just, not be as good as it was at first, but it's pretty good. The seal on this case is really good. It provides a good seal. I mean, you'd really have to submerge your phone for quite a while to get any water inside the case. Of course, nothing is water resistant forever, but this case does a great job. I think for the price, you're not going to find a better waterproof case on Amazon. So if you're looking for a case that provides that kind of protection, definitely check it out. Now we're going to go on to the Unicorn Beetle Pro from Supcase. This is a case that provides very unique functionality that you typically would only find in, like, say, an OtterBox case, something with a lot more there. This case is a lot more than what your typical case is going to provide, because it not only comes with a belt clip, but it also comes with a full case with a front screen protector built in. And so I'm going to go ahead and remove that plastic, and we'll pop the screen protector out of the case here so that we can assemble this. And I'll show you just basically how this case operates. We'll go ahead and put the phone into the screen protector. Same situation as the last screen protector. We probably will have issues with our fingerprint registering, and so we'll need to register a new fingerprint just to make sure that we are able to use that feature. And we'll go ahead and get this snapped in. You go around and just seal it with your fingers, just rubbing over the edges and bringing the edge of the case over the screen protector until you've got a good seal. And what's nice about this case is that it has a lot of face protection from the screen, and so you can see the thickness right here is going to provide a ton of protection screen down, because a case like this is something somebody would use if they're on the job site, if they're out in the elements where your phone potentially would come in contact with a lot more damaging things. The back of the phone, everything sits nice and flat, but the back of the phone provides a lot of protection over the camera hump. Also has a very robust kickstand, and so these typically could be kind of a pain in the butt the first couple of times to pop out, and so it might take once or twice popping this out, but the kickstand snaps into place and it works in portrait and landscape mode, and it's a very solid, secure kickstand. So this is something that you can use. Really, it's durable compared to a lot of the others, especially the one that we looked at before on the second or third case we looked at. You could even use it kind of like our first case, just put your finger in there and it just kind of helps safe and secure holding your phone so you don't accidentally flip it out of your hand or something like that. But it's definitely not as comfortable as having that circle loop like on our first case. I do like the kickstand on this, but like I said before, I'm not typically one who uses kickstands. If you are, this one has the most durable kickstand. It also comes with the belt clip, and the belt clip can be used in two different ways. You can put the phone face out on the belt clip like so. Probably best to put the buttons down towards the bottom, or you can go screen inward to provide maximum protection. And as you can see here, like this, if you're wearing this on your belt, I mean, you've got tons of protection on the outside. You're not going to have any issues using a case like this. However, I have seen cases like this after a lot of use, and because you're probably out on the job site, out in areas where a lot more elements are going to come in contact with your phone, it requires making sure that you keep this thing clean, because you can get debris and stuff down in here, and it just kind of gets gross over time. You've got a nice door here to protect your USB-C charging port, and so I recommend just making sure this is closed all the time so that way you don't get junk and debris in there. Of course, there's a big cutout for your speaker and microphones. The buttons are really good, and this obviously adds some heft to your phone and a little bit of size to the phone as well. So there's a lot going on with this case, but if you are needing protection against damaging your phone from the elements, then this is going to be the case for you. Moving along, we have a Samsung Galaxy A53 case here with not a lot of explanation on it. So let's go ahead and see what we get. Some of these cases, they don't really bother too much with the branding. And this case is looking very much like the first case with some slight differences. So let's take a look. It comes with a screen protector. That's nice. It has the door. Let's just go ahead and get the phone in the case here so that we could take a look here and see what we've got. It is similar to the first case, but not the same in the design. So you can see it's got the sliding door. This one says Discover New World. This some really word usage here. Some I don't even know what to say with some of the words that are chosen on these cases. But the door is useful, protecting your phone from debris and maybe privacy or something like that. I don't know. This one has a kickstand that is... Ow, that kind of hurt. Let's go ahead and just... Yep, there we go. This one has a kickstand more like the Unicorn Beetle. Pops out, can be used in landscape and portrait mode, and could even be used as a support here to support your phone with your finger. So I do like that, even though this one is a little bit tougher. And I'm afraid that after too many uses, it probably... I don't know, it could break. This case is not super expensive, so that's one good thing it's got going for it. Sits flat on the front, even though it it sits flat on the back, but it's not completely flat. Like if you push down on this side, it tips a little bit, but if you push on all four corners, it sits flat. Whereas the first case, it had the ring, and the ring kept the case from sitting totally flat. Now, what I like about the first case is the ring. I would prefer having the ring over the kickstand because the ring could kind of act as a kickstand at certain angles as well. Maybe not as sturdy of a kickstand as this case provides, but I like the ring better than I like the kickstand. So if I had to choose between the first case and this one, I would say I'd choose the first case just because it has the ring as opposed to the kickstand. So let's look at one last case. This is the Rugged Armor from Spigen. We looked at 3 different Spigen cases, so they have a lot of cases, a lot of options, and they're all very consistent. These cases are typically available for all of the phones that are out there. As a matter of fact, I have some of these cases on the way for the Galaxy Fold 4, the Flip 4, the iPhone 14 Pro Max. I've got several of these cases on the way. And I just like their build quality. That case goes on so nice. It's very minimal, like the thin case. Maybe a little bit more to it than the thin case, but it adds a nice kind of, I guess maybe that kind of looks like fake Kevlar look to it. Has good protection all the way around. The buttons are nice. I love the minimal grippiness on the side of the case here. And overall, like, this is just a nice case, and it really dresses this phone up well. And so I would say, you know, this probably be one of my favorite cases. I still really like the thin case because of its minimalness, if that's a word. I like the minimal look of that case. The Kevlar is not necessarily my style. The branding is a little bit more on this case than on the thin case, but this probably is a close second for me because it's minimal, it has a nice style to it, it has a nice subtle grip to it, which the thin case didn't have, and so it would be a toss-up for me. I'd have to decide whether I would rather have the slight grippiness of the side of this case or the simplicity of the thin case. So that's going to do it for the cases that we've got for the A53. I hope that you enjoyed this video. Make sure to use the links down in the description below because all of those will take you to Amazon to the exact cases that I looked at here in this video, as well as the different color options, because many of these cases come in a variety of different colors and some even additional styles. So make sure to check out those links. If you found this video useful and want more A53 content, make sure to let me know down in the comment section below. Give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel here on State of Tech to be notified when I put out new videos. But that's going to do it for today. Thanks so much, and I'll see you back in another one soon.